Welcome to our channel. Today, you are going to discover one of the most amazing stories from the Old Testament, the story of the prophet Elijah. In this video, we will learn English through a powerful and inspiring story, told in simple language, easy to follow, and full of meaning. You will hear the whole story in English, perfect for learners who want to practice listening while enjoying a message of faith and courage. This video is divided into 3 parts. First, you will watch the complete story with English subtitles. Then, you will hear a friendly conversation between 2 hosts, one male and one female, explaining the keywords and expressions, all in English, like a mini podcast. And finally, you will watch the same story again, but without subtitles, to test your understanding and see how much you've learned. So, get ready, listen carefully, and enjoy learning English with one of the most inspiring stories in the Bible, the journey of the prophet Elijah.
Elijah was a man from Tishbe in the land of Gilead. He was a prophet chosen by God to speak the truth, even when it was hard. At that time, King Ahab ruled over Israel. He and his wife Jezebel led the people to worship idols instead of the true God. One day, God sent Elijah to the palace. Elijah stood before King Ahab and said, "As the Lord lives, there will be no rain or dew in the land until I say so." After that, God told Elijah to leave the city and go east. He went to a small river called the brook Cherith. There, God took care of him. Elijah drank water from the brook, and every morning and evening ravens brought him bread and meat. Even in a time of drought, God protected his servant. Elijah stayed there until the brook began to dry up.
Today, our mission is really laser focused and actually specifically tailored for you listening. We're diving into the essential English vocabulary and context you'll need. The idea is you can watch a video about the prophet Elijah, the story with the drought.
Right.
And understand it fully in English. No subtitles needed.
Exactly. And this isn't really a full history lesson. Think of it more like a linguistic toolkit.
Okay.
We've pulled these key bits directly from the source text context, O Propheta Eliasia Seika, so you get the specific English phrases that really unlock the narrative. It's kind of like your comprehension cheat sheet.
Love that. Okay, let's kick things off with the main character then, Elijah. He's from Tishbe in Gilead. And our first key English phrase is his title. He was a prophet chosen by God.
Yeah, and let's unpack that a bit. Prophet chosen by God. In this context, it's more than just, a religious title.
Yeah.
It signifies someone whose job it was to, speak the truth.
Speak the truth.
Okay. Yeah, and not just philosophically. Often, this meant speaking truth directly, sometimes in opposition to the ruling power. It's a role operating kind of outside the normal structures.
Okay, so if he's speaking truth, who's he speaking it to? This must be where the main tension comes in.
Precisely. That brings us to the antagonist, you could say. At this time, King Ahab ruled over Israel.
Ruled over Israel, got it.
Yeah, listen for that phrase, ruled over. It really sets up the dynamic. Because the core conflict, the thing driving the whole story you're about to see, is that King Ahab and his wife Jezebel, who was pretty notorious,
Right.
they were encouraging people to worship idols.
Ah, okay, so turning away from their God.
Exactly, actively turning the nation away from the covenant. So you have this stark contrast, the prophet speaking God's truth versus the king promoting idol worship. That clash, that's the engine of the whole story.
Okay, so things are tense. Then comes the big moment. The action.
Yes. This is where Elijah confronts the king. And he makes this incredibly powerful declaration. It's basically a curse that starts the whole crisis.
And that is?
He declares, and this phrase is key, "There will be no rain or dew in the land until I say so."
Wow. Okay. No rain or dew until I say so.
It's direct.
Incredibly direct. It shows the severity of what's coming, and it really establishes Elijah's authority, backed by God. And that statement, it immediately kicks off the environmental disaster, the drought.
Right, the drought. So when you hear that word drought in the video, it's not just like a dry spell.
No, absolutely not. It's the direct consequence of that conflict, that turning away to idols. It leads to famine, desperation. It's the punishment unfolding.
So the tension then shifts to survival, I imagine. How does this prophet, who just infuriated the king, survive when the land itself is dying?
And that's where we get some of the most memorable vocabulary. The details are pretty striking.
Yep.
The source material explains God protected Elijah, told him to hide out near the brook Cherith. That's a specific place name to listen for. Brook Cherith.
Okay.
A brook, like a small stream.
Exactly. But obviously, a brook can dry up in a drought. So how did he eat? This is the part you really need to catch in English because it's so distinct.
I'm ready.
The text says ravens brought him bread and meat every morning, every evening.
Ravens. Okay, that is specific. Ravens brought him bread and meat.
Yeah, and think about that. Ravens in that culture weren't exactly considered clean animals.
Right. So it's kind of an inversion. Unclean birds bringing clean food.
It's a total reversal. It highlights the miraculous nature of the provision. And knowing that specific phrase, ravens brought, gives you the verb and the noun, it's hard to miss once you know to listen for it. It really hammers home the survival aspect.
Okay, so let's quickly recap for everyone getting ready to watch. You've got the key players and terms. Elijah is the prophet chosen by God.
Speaking truth.
He confronts King Ahab, who ruled over Israel, and with Jezebel, encouraged people to worship idols.
The core conflict.
Elijah declares no rain or dew, which leads to the devastating drought.
The consequence.
And Elijah survives by the brook Cherith because ravens brought him bread and meat.
That's the framework. You've got the key English pieces now.
So what's the final tip as they hit play?
I'd say pay really close attention to those verbs we highlighted. Notice the actions. How the king ruled or encouraged idol worship.
Right.
Versus how the ravens simply brought the food. Catching those specific nouns and, crucially, the action words, the verbs, that's really the key to mastering the English comprehension for this story.
Excellent advice. Focus on those actions. Enjoy the video, everyone. We think you're ready.
Elijah was a man from Tishbe in the land of Gilead. He was a prophet chosen by God to speak the truth, even when it was hard. At that time, King Ahab ruled over Israel. He and his wife Jezebel led the people to worship idols instead of the true God. One day, God sent Elijah to the palace. Elijah stood before King Ahab and said, "As the Lord lives, there will be no rain or dew in the land until I say so." After that, God told Elijah to leave the city and go east. He went to a small river called the brook Cherith. There, God took care of him. Elijah drank water from the brook, and every morning and evening ravens brought him bread and meat. Even in a time of drought, God protected his servant. Elijah stayed there until the brook began to dry up.
Thank you so much for watching this video and learning English with us. We hope you enjoyed the story of the prophet Elijah, a story full of courage, faith, and miracles. Now tell us in the comments, what new words or expressions did you learn today? Did you already know this story before? We'd love to read your answers and see how much you've learned. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. And of course, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next English stories. See you in the next video. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep speaking English every day.